Hello and thank you for joining us on Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. I am Jacinta Agochukwu. This week, NLC pushes for new LP convention as cracks widen in the PDP. Also this week, Edo House of Assembly impeaches Philip Shaibu. Later on the show, Naira nears 1,000 Naira per dollar amid CBN's intervention. All the details in a moment. Stay with us. Well, this week, the leadership crisis rocking the Labour Party deepened further as the Political Commission of the Nigerian Labour Congress, including some party stakeholders, called for a fresh national convention. This development followed heightened internal conflicts within the party and the NLC's renewed commitment to reclaim the party control from the national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, over his role in a divisive national convention. At the end of the party stakeholders meeting in Abuja, attended by notable party figures, they agreed to constitute a transition committee led by the NLC Political Commission to create party structures at all levels and prepare for an all-inclusive and expansive national convention within 3 months. I have joining me to discuss this in the studio Justice Ojenu, a lawyer. Welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure.
All right, let's start. Let me start with asking you how you've reacted on this dynamics, internal crisis within. They speak clear to these two parties, PDP and LP. What has been your reactions?
Okay, generally, I think that most of the crisis is neophytic, is because they are being childish. And of course, sometimes it's because of the nature of the jostle for power. But having said that, I must state the disadvantage of this kind of situation. It is that the people who are supposed to be the beneficiary, the customers, the consumers, they are going to be the worst for it. It is very, very good for there to be competitive and a positive rivalry when it comes to a political space, especially when there is a party in power. It is for the benefit of the APC for there to be competitive opposition. But again, APC is supposed to, it's not their fault. As far as they are not doing anything illegal, whatever it is they are doing to carry the day, I don't think it's a bad thing. So generally, whatever it is, and again, most especially, the role that NLC is playing in Labour Party, I feel it is very, very unhealthy and uncalled for. Whatever it is that NLC wants to do, if even they end up taking control of the Labour Party, it will create a serious situation of conflict of interest. We saw what played out in Imo State, where NLC couldn't separate itself from either being a pressure group, a proper labor group, or a political party. It looked like a labor group wants to take over political activities. I feel that it is unhealthy for our democracy. Anybody that feels that they want to participate in politics and political power, as distinct from fighting for the struggle of the common everyday worker, the person should take off the hat of labor unionism and go and properly jostle for political power. Because I feel that it is not in the interest of workers at all for NLC to also now take over a proper political party, especially a political party that is as competitive as the Labour Party.
All right, staying with your point that these parties are more like displaying childish behaviors and all of that, and as well the issue of formidable opposition parties. Isn't it time for the stakeholders of these political parties to really come in? People like talk of PDP, Atiku. Nothing, you won't hear him say anything concerning the party, the crisis, resolutions on how to put their homes together.
I think you have made a very, very valid point, and I feel that it is very, very unfortunately so. the PDP, for example, I feel that the PDP missed it when it fielded Atiku Abubakar as its candidate, because Buhari just had a bite at power for uninterrupted for 8 years, and it will be very, very unwise and undemocratic, especially in the interest of federal character, for power again to have gone to the north. And for very, very good reason, there was internal political crisis for that reason alone in the PDP, and it is the major reason why the PDP couldn't competitively vie for power in the past election. So I feel that maybe that's why the Waziri was not comfortable, couldn't go all out and just hope for power in the past election. I feel that...
You think what happened in the past election is still playing a huge part in this whole crisis?
To a large extent, yes. The divisions that were caused in the past election, for example, a Wike against Atiku, it's still there. It's still very enduring, even though it now appears to us that maybe Wike is becoming weaker and weaker because the persons who pegged their tents with him are bidding him goodbye. But again, it's the nature of politics. Eventually, people gravitate towards power, and as the situation stands, Fubara is power.
All right, let's move to our second story for tonight. But I think we should take a short break, and Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's still Newsweek, where we discuss the biggest stories that made the headlines in the week. The political atmosphere in Edo State took a new shape this week when the State House of Assembly impeached embattled Philip Shaibu as deputy governor, ending a long-drawn drama between him and Governor Godwin Obaseki. He was impeached during the House plenary session in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Shaibu's impeachment followed the adoption of the report of a 7-man committee set up by the Chief Judge of Edo State, Justice Daniel Okumbawa, to investigate allegations of misconduct against the deputy governor. Majority Leader of the House said that while the report of the panel was unable to establish the case of perjury leveled against the deputy governor, the panel found him guilty of disclosure of government secrets. 18 out of 19 members present at plenary voted for the impeachment of the deputy governor, while one abstained from the head count and voting process. Days later, Omobayo Godwins was sworn in as the new deputy governor of the state. I still have Justice Ojini with me. Now, joining me via Zoom is Joel Kemi, a doctoral researcher, public affairs analyst. Let me begin with you, Mr. Joel. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I mean, considering that Governor Obaseki's evident disapproval of Philip Shaibu following their disagreement, was this impeachment anticipated?
Well, Philip Shaibu will make it the 17th deputy governor that have been impeached since this current dispensation in 1999. And the fact remains that if you take a holistic look at all of the impeachments that happened from 1999 to date, you find that these impeachments of the deputy governors have one thing in common: always a disagreement between the principal and the deputy governors. And it's always coming at a time where elections, second round of elections will be held to get a new governor after 8 years of the principal. And this always comes, at a time where the deputy governors are judged to be loyal to their principals, and they have now seen governance, they've seen power, and they're trying to, seek the office of governor. And usually what happens is the governors always have, so to say, anointed candidates. And this doesn't really go down well with the deputy governors. And when the deputy governors, try to say, look, I think I have a right to contest based on the provisions of the Constitution the governors will feel, the principals will feel the best way to ease the deputy governor out is to just allege gross misconduct, get the State House of Assembly, and impeach the deputy governor.
So you
And
think
this
the judgment is not justified?
Yes, considering the fact that first, when the panel sat on Wednesday, the lawyer to the deputy governor was there, and then he said, "Look, let us stay proceedings pending the outcome. You know, the matter is already pending in the Federal High Court in Abuja, and the court has already said was to resume sitting. You know, the lawsuit filed by Shaibu to challenge the Edo State House of Assembly to impeach him, and the suit is already pending in the Federal High Court in Abuja." So what we all expect is the fact that, look, you have alleged gross misconduct, and already we all know the events that have led to the impeachment, and the deputy governor approached the court, as he has a right to say, look, stay proceedings until we are able to find out, you know, get one or two things addressed. I thought that the State House of Assembly will try to obey that court order to say stay proceeding until all of these. So they went ahead on Thursday, and already the matter will not go in the favor of the deputy governor. So he decided with the lawyers not to appear at the panel on Thursday and Friday, and the impeachment went ahead all the same. But going by what we've had over the years in the impeachment of deputy governors, you know, the governors of Bauchi, Bayelsa, Taraba, Enugu, Ondo, Imo, Kogi, and Zamfara have been able to, you know, obtain court order to setting aside the impeachment. Some even.
So you think Shaibu has a chance to overturn this impeachment because he's kicking against it? Does he have a chance?
Yes. Yeah, he has a chance, but my problem is the timing. Because the campaigns will start anytime soon. The elections will be done within a few months. And we know how some of these cases drag in court. Okay? We know how some of these cases drag in court. He probably will get, you know, the justice he deserves or the justice he wants. At the end of the tenure, he might be reinstated on the books as a deputy governor. But the fact remains that, in my books, I don't think the panel, you know, they say gross misconduct, and one of the accusations was leaking of government secrets. So it now appears that the State House of Assemblies just use these allegations or whatever to appease the governors, because for the fact that it is coming, you know, close to the elections really tells a different story. And we all know the events that played out with the deputy governor saying he wants to contest for the office of the governor based on his constitutional rights. But the government of the day is insisting that, look, based on political arrangement and in the interest of equity and justice and fairness, just stay aside, let somebody from the Edo Central contest the elections. Now, all of these cumulatively led to the gross misconduct that we're talking about. But I just hope that this will not serve like a precedent, because this really, Shaibu, of course, was a gentleman in the whole matter, preferred the court to take its course, the law of the land to take its course. But in the past, we've had it this good. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because, take, for example, the Enugu case, where the gross misconduct was the deputy governor having a poultry farm, you know, in his official residence. That as gross misconduct and constitutional breach. You know, so all of this happening close to the elections really tells that Nigerian democracy has not really advanced.
All right, Joel, quickly. So we have, Edo State has a new deputy governor. Let's have your thought on the political contribution that the new deputy governor, Mobayo Godwins, might bring.
Well, the new deputy governor is someone that's not new to politics, but one of the statements credited to the new deputy governor that he will be loyal to the governor, you know, it just points a picture that the new deputy governor probably will not have much of ideas to bring in, considering one, the elections, the campaigns are about to start, the elections will be coming soon, and he's coming from a different party to the PDP, and though he's experienced an engineer, and then he has one or two experience to bring in, but considering the fact that he will be totally loyal to the governor, which is not really a bad thing. But given that, you know, whatever perspectives he might have, whatever ideology he might be bringing in, might not be fully expressed, considering that he has already pledged loyalty to the governor. So whatever the governor, good or bad, stays as far as that is concerned.
All right, let me come to you, Justice. I don't know how you've seen this whole thing that played out, but let's talk about what becomes of Philip Shaibu. Do you think he should remain in PDP or go back to APC to his former boss?
Okay, for me, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him to go back to the APC, because the way he fought the APC, or the way he fought his former boss, he fought and shut the door.
Well, how could he make such two enemies like that? Some believe it's not wise.
For me, I actually think that his political future or destiny is brighter with the PDP, because there is no way that APC will welcome him back with arms wide open. But again, this may not be what the APC chairman will say. They will say that anybody that comes, anybody with any level of clout that comes is an addition, is a welcome development. But we all also know that, okay, will he be able to rise to the level where we'll be able to use the APC platform to be able to procure power?
I mean, he has a lot to offer. He brought Godwin to power.
Yeah, he has serious political value in Edo State. I must admit that. But we must also note that politics is a game of horse trading. It's not your own value alone that will bring you to power. It's the negotiations. It's the people you're able to convince to also contribute their value to your value, and for you to, if we have to use street parlance, form a solid Voltron before you be able to amass into something substantial enough to be able to take power from a state as strong as Edo State. Will he be able to achieve that with APC? I really am in serious doubt of that.
All right, let's move to our final story for tonight. The Naira continued its weeks-long appreciation against the dollar and foreign exchange market amid the Central Bank of Nigeria's fresh efforts to defend the currency. FMQD data showed the exchange as 1,230.61 Naira per US dollar on Monday from 1,251.05. This represents 20.89 Naira gain from the figure recorded last week. Similarly, the Naira traded at 1,220 Naira per dollar on Monday at the parallel market. The development follows another tranche distribution of $10,000 to each BDC at 1,101 Naira per dollar for over 4 weeks now. The Naira has recorded sustained gains against the dollar in foreign exchange market. I still have Justice Ojeno and Joel Kemi, doctoral researcher, public affairs analyst. Let me come to you, Joel. You know, Nigerians, you hear them reacting, saying, we are making progress. But what's your reaction to the Naira's significant recovery against the dollar, gaining over 15% since its record low in February?
Yes, I must give it to Yemi Cardozo. Now we know we have a central bank governor who knows his onions, and the fact that they've been able to bring out policies that seen the steady rise of the value of the Naira in the last few days is really a welcome development. However, the problem now is the prices. The prices of goods in the market are still the way they are. And then, of course, they always tell you in Nigeria, when the price of commodities go up, it doesn't come down. So what would the government do now to ensure stability in the price? We understand that the government is bringing out the grains to flood the market, to bring up the price of essential commodities like the corn, the grain, and the rest of them. But how about other items? And the fact that the government will have to do a lot to ensure, to minimize importation of these goods as much as possible, because that is what puts a lot of strains on the Naira. So if the government will do that, and then the government will try as much as possible to get the price control board or something like that to ensure that prices, of commodities, will come down as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, the stability of the Naira, yes, it's very good for the economy. It helps the manufacturers and all of that, stabilizes the economy. But the pricing is where we really need to get it right. We understand that some of the pricing could be as a result of the subsidy removal, petroleum product and all of that. But the government has to find a way to ensure price stability, because that's another area where the inflation, is up, because we have more Naira now chasing fewer goods. So the government has to find a way to stabilize the currency. We're getting it right with the dollar, but we need to find a way to ensure the prices of goods and commodities, are within the reach of the common man.
All right, Justice. CBN has prohibited the idea of dollar collateral for Naira loans. How do you think this will impact on the currency's valuation?
Okay, for me, I think that it's a very fantastic idea. The fact that anything to reduce the use of dollar for whatever as collateral, fantastic idea. Maybe as for rent, for any transaction in Nigeria. For me, I just feel that it's a fantastic idea. Reduce the use of dollar for anything whatsoever in the country, including as collateral, is a fantastic idea. This is a Naira economy. Everything we do here should be in Naira. So for me, I welcome it wholeheartedly. And whatever it is, also other things that the CBN governor is doing, I'm very happy for him that it's turning out this way. He met a mess. And the mess, of course, was we shouldn't continue blaming the past government. But again, he has gone beyond blaming the past government to actually taking serious actions to be able to salvage the Naira. We mustn't forget that one of the high points too is that internationally this landmark achievement is recognized by Goldman Sachs, saying that the Naira is the best performing currency in the whole world in the month of April. So whatever policies they are putting in place to ensure that we continue on this upward trajectory should continue. Including the non-collateralization of Naira by dollar, not using dollars to back Naira.
Okay. So another concern some Nigerians have expressed, I'm laughing because this affects me too. The idea of Naira appreciating every day and is not affecting the food commodity and food items and other commodities. How do you react to that?
You mean depreciating every day?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not affecting the food prices. They're still high.
It's affecting. But let me tell you what the mechanics, it will be the mechanics behind it. We must always remember that when markets are distorted inorganically, like the way it was distorted when Naira was just appreciating, businessmen will take advantage of the day. We must also always remember that our market is not, we are not in a communist society.
Exactly.
We are in a capitalist society.
Bearing in mind that whatever goes up, your guess is as good as mine.
I feel that it will come down, but it may not come down to ground zero. That is where it was before it started appreciating. So we must brace up for that. We should let competition continue. When proper competition and market forces continue, it will come down. It may not be as fast as the dollar rate is dropping, but we must also remember that it may never ever come down to ground zero.
Joe, let me get your rating or how you would rate the performance of the CBN so far. What do you think? Do you welcome the whole strategies at which he has employed to get our Naira to be valued or appreciate more?
Yes. First, the new CBN that we have really needs to be applauded. Like the guest in the studio said, the current administration or the current CBN governor made a total mess. They made a mess of our central bank. They made a mess of everything, and to think that within within 1 year or within 9 months, the current governor of the central bank is really putting in policies in place to ensure effectiveness and super run of the central bank really needs to be commended.
Okay.
And the policies, the CBN is bringing out on a daily basis to ensure the stability of the Naira is really applaudable. For example, one of them is issuing fresh guidelines, for the international money transfer operators in Nigeria and the removal of the cap on the exchange rate quoted by the international money transfer operators. It's really a welcome development. And all of these, if within the short 8 to 9 months we've recorded, and within the last 1 week we've recorded enormous gains, you can imagine what will happen within the next 6 months. So I must give it to the current central bank for all of this. I just hope they're able to sustain it, and then we get the Naira back to what we used to have. Then we need to stop the dollarization of the Nigerian economy as much as possible.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your contributions. I've been speaking with Justice Eugenio. He's here in the studio with me. He's a lawyer, and I have Joel Kemi, Doctor of Research and Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contributions.
My pleasure.
All right, and that's our show for today. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Jacinta Agochukwu. Goodbye.